In a crisis situation, no matter how big or small, the most basic thing we can do to provide emotional support for others is to connect with them. While it's easy enough to connect with friends, family, or coworkers, often we might hesitate to connect with those in our neighborhood.
It's not really that complicated or all psychobabble. Just say, "Hi, my name is," state your name, then ask, "What's your name?" Not too difficult, right?
It seems like in the past, people sat on their front porches and actually visited with their neighbors. When I
Mhm.
was a kid, I remember doing that with my parents.
I do too. And I remember it being fun. But all too often today, we pull our cars into the garage and let the garage door close behind us.
Guilty.
And that's about as close as we get to visiting our neighbors. But think about it, in a major disaster, they might be the same people you need to turn to for some help.
Excellent point. So when we reach out and engage those around us, including our neighbors, it'll make it a lot easier to help them when they're in need.
Here's an example. Let's say there's been a pandemic flu outbreak, and we have been directed to stay confined in our house for several days. To some, this might be a quite stressful proposition, but it's easy enough to pick up the telephone and start a conversation with a neighbor. It takes the mind off their stress of being in the house.
This lets them know you care about them and that you're there if they need anything. Think about how offering to pick up a few things at the grocery store might help another person, both physically and emotionally. This kind of psychological first aid often gives people a real boost and the emotional support they need.
That's true. So don't be afraid to connect and engage with others. And in return, these same people just might come to your aid when you're in a tough situation.
Yeah, it sounds a little hokey, but you've heard it before. What goes around comes around. That's also why getting to know your neighbors on a first name basis is a great place to start, and it could be one of the most important things you ever do.